Hello, yes, I am literally recording the video straight after the one the other one, what? The one I uploaded whenever I uploaded it. Here's the next one, therefore I look completely the same because it's literally straight after. Even though I probably should get a drink of water before I do this. Juice. Diluted juice with water. What was I saying? So, we went from little Jo telling herself stories, making up imaginary worlds and people to keep them feeling a little less lonely, which is actually quite sad, to teenage Jo needing a release and finding that in poetry. Then we go to adult Jo. Adult Jo who was still finding that release through poetry and just journaling, writing, escaping. I'd always continued to just write poetry. Like throughout my older teen life, my adult life, up until now, I've always continued to write it. And when I was going through really hard times, when I was going through breakups, when I was going through really traumatic periods in my life, writing in those journals really helped me. It may not be for everyone, but it's maybe even saved me at times, because I would be sat there thinking, well, I could, get something or I could write. I could scribble really furiously in a book. I could stab the notepad even, and then write all my feelings down. Sometimes it may have saved me, which is really cliche and dramatic to say, but it's true. It's true. Because, like I said, if I didn't do that, I may have done other things that I did do to myself, but not as much. But there was a time where I stopped writing. I was still writing journals and diary entries, but I wasn't doing anything creative. I felt I lost myself. I lost so much of myself. And it was quite a few years ago, but it was just a few years before I was going back to university. And the traumatic events that me and my family went through, and then that I won't get into, and then the traumatic events that I went through myself at the hands of someone. So I stopped writing. I wasn't doing it anymore. I wasn't creating anything. I wasn't myself. I was completely and utterly lost. And at the hands of someone who didn't want me to pursue anything, even if they would say it, even if, in a weird way, they would be like, oh, I really like your writing, after they forced me to show them my diaries. Journals of the rawest of thoughts. Journals of just angry, spur of the moment thoughts that you look back at and don't even understand yourself, or you look back at and think, well, I don't think that at all. But in that spur of the moment, you do. So they forced me to show them my private writing, my private diaries, because they said, if anyone says this to you, just leave. They said that it's not fair on them because they don't know my innermost thoughts. They don't know what I'm truly feeling and thinking because I put it all in diaries. It's called having a bit of privacy. And it's also called not trusting you one bit with my innermost thoughts and feelings because I was so scared to ever say them out loud. And that wasn't only with him, that was with other people in my life. When I was a child as well, I was afraid of speaking out loud my thoughts and feelings at times. For different reasons, though. But with that relationship, yeah, he forced me to give him my diaries. And you know, I was thinking back, oh, but I willingly gave it to. No, he manipulated me into giving them to him. So, I think that was part of the reason why I just stopped writing. Building up to that relationship, and then that relationship completely nearly, well, taking my life, destroying it. I just gave up. I thought, this is my life now. In a job I hate, surrounded by people I can't stand, in a relationship that is going to kill me, but this is it. And in my mind, I was like, well, maybe I deserve this, you know, like so many victims and survivors think. But I'm sorry, this has literally gone on about like becoming a survivor, but this is my journey. This is how I got to where I am now. Because if I hadn't gone through that, if I hadn't gone through all of that stuff, I wouldn't be the same person that I am today. And we know that. It's, you know, if things had been differently, I would be different, and you would be different, and everyone would be different if things had gone differently. But because they went the way they went for me, I'm here, where I am now. And I was really, really, really not wanting to say that kind of thing. I was really in denial. I was like, no, I'm not giving my trauma and my abusers the power. But it's not, because I've taken the power back and said, actually, look at what I've created from the trauma. Look at what I've brought myself out of that. No one else did that. I did. And if it was for them, if it was up to them, I never would have ever done what I've done today. So, many of you already know this kind of story, but I ended that relationship. Thank God. I was strong enough to actually do it. And it drove that, many other things drove me to just change my life completely. Just say, that's it. I've had enough. Putting my foot down. I'm fucking leaving. I'm doing something for myself. I'm going out there and actually making something of myself and pursuing a lifelong dream that I've always had, because I've always wanted to be a poet. I've always wanted to publish my work and show people what I'm capable of, but also hopefully my work can find people who need it. With the Ballad of Féarra, my first book, hopefully people can escape to that world and fall in love with it like I did whilst I was writing it. Hopefully people can just find some solace in it, even though there's some really, really bad shit that goes down in that book. That book is literally my whole love for fantasy, poetry, mythology, all the fantastical things that have been created and are part of this world. The love for them are in that book. And going through university, all the ups and downs of studying for 4 years and wanting to quit and having rubbish days, and also having flashbacks to that disastrous relationship, and also having moments where I wanted to really just run away and give up and just scream and jump into the Humber. It was so worth it. How it sounds crazy, but it was, because I fucking did it. I was capable of writing a book, because writing a book is, well, it can take people decades to finish their books, can't it? So writing a book is immense. So if you have written a book, even if it's just sat there on your laptop or on the shelf, congratulations for actually being able to do that. Because I know how difficult a task that is. How much time and effort it takes. How much love you've got to actually have for the story you're telling, no matter what that story is. I found that passion, though, again, when I was studying. And I truly do love that department at Hull Uni. And this isn't a promotional video, don't worry. Just because I do that as a job, it doesn't mean that I'm going to preach anything on my channel. But yeah, that department, those lecturers, the people I met during uni, everything that happens during my studies truly transformed me, my life, my writing capabilities. Honest to God, I was not that good when I first started. I looked back at my first year stuff and I was just like, oh God, why did I submit that? But you learn, you continue to grow as a person, as a writer, and your skills, capabilities just get better and better. They just develop. And that's what inevitably happened with me. I would not, in a million years, publish the stuff that I wrote in my first, second, maybe even, third year, maybe. But first and second year, no. No. So that's kind of like a bit of a whistle-stop tour of how I got here. And then I'm going to go into the actual writing process, the self-publishing, everything that entailed, everything that how I even came about writing the book, where the idea came from, everything. I'm going to go into the whole writing process for you, and maybe talk about my current work that I'm currently working on. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the last couple of videos. I'm getting to know me a little bit better, I guess. I'm getting to know the story behind the stories, and the story behind the person you may have read yeah, that is what you say. The brain is not working anymore. I'm gonna have to stop talking before like it ends up like that other video I did when I first started talking about this and it was truly unhinged. Wow. Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day, evening, night, morning, whatever time it is when you're watching this, wherever you are in the world. Cheers to you. Thank you so much for being here, watching, liking if you have, commented anything you wanted to comment down below, subscribing if you decided to subscribe, or if you already have subscribed. And if you've also bought my book, truly, truly thank you for that. I'm gonna go. Bye.